Education asks, does she understand the asTTle reporting system and the process leading to it?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I wouldn't claim to have an understanding on a par with Professor Hattie, but I understand the core elements.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Supplementary question. What is the difference between the national standardisation used by asTTle and the standardisation required by her national standards?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
I'm advised that asTTle is set to population norms. National standards are nationally consistent benchmarks that set clear expectations about achievement and progress and are aligned to ensure that students are on track to achieve NCEA Level 2. I'm advised that in some cases the national standards expectations are above current norms. We have set these national standards at this level to ensure that all of our students are able to succeed at Level 2 NCEA.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
What is her best estimate of the extra time that teachers will spend and the cost of using a non-standardised system rather than one which is already standardised?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I'd say to the member that that would very much depend on the current assessment tools and the effectiveness of the use of those that teachers are currently using. For many teachers in our schools, they are already completing and using assessment tools and practices extremely effectively, in which case they will change very little. Perhaps all they may change is the additional requirement to report to parents against the national standards. But we know that there are many students whose teachers are not using effective assessment techniques and tools, and for them we hope they will have to make many changes.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
In light of the answer to the last supplementary question, for a teacher currently using asTTle, given that the Minister said that it would depend on the systems which they use, for a teacher currently using asTTle, what is her best estimate of the extra time for teachers and cost to the school of using a non-standardised system rather than the already standardised asTTle system?
How much time?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
It would depend, Mr Speaker, on exactly what reports those teachers are currently giving to parents. It's my understanding that there is not a standard asTTle report, that if they are using an asTTle report, they will have to provide an additional report, which is placing results and progress of students against national standards. However, if they are not producing for parents an asTTle report, they will have to just produce a report showing progress against the national standards.
Joe Goodhue.
My question to the Minister of Education: what advice has she received on the difference between asTTle norms and the benchmarks set by national standards?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Mr Speaker, I am advised that asTTle is based on population norms. That is what students are currently learning. What we know is, and what we have aligned...
Order. I apologise, the Minister. The House showed courtesy while the Minister was answering a question from the opposition. I now ask the House to show the same courtesy while the Minister is answering a question from a member of the government. I think that is only fair and reasonable. The Honourable Anne Tolley, and I do apologise.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I'm advised that asTTle is based on population norms. That is what students are currently learning. And what we know is that in this modern world, that is not significant. That is not significant enough for our students, and the national standards have been aligned through to NCEA Level 2. We know that that is the level that students need for success.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Did I understand the Minister to just say that asTTle results are based on what students are currently learning, and if not, would she care to revise that answer?
The Honourable Anne Tolley.
Yeah, I'm happy to add to that, learning and achieving.
The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Does she accept that the asTTle reports for parents provide more in depth and more useful information for parents than her national standards? And if not, why not?
The Honourable asTTle.
As I said to the member before, my understanding is that there is not one standard report from asTTle. So some parents where schools are using asTTle are getting very detailed information. But I know of one parent whose school did use asTTle. I know of one who's talked to me whose school does use asTTle, where the asTTle reports were translated into average, above average or below average. So there is no standard asTTle report. What schools will have to do is, in addition to anything else that they are reporting to parents, they will have to report progress against the national standards in plain language at least twice a year, and what we know is that parents can't wait for that to happen.
Supplementary question. The Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Has she looked carefully at the asTTle graphs that are available for parents that most schools using asTTle give to parents, and does she accept that the information in those graphs provides more in depth and more useful information to parents than the reports that will be provided as a result of her national standards?
Honourable asTTle.
Mr. Speaker, yes, I have looked carefully at the console reports.
Question number 9. Kanwaljit Singh